Hello, students. I make this lesson too for you, not to lose touch with your English. We will start with revision of the key vocabulary. Take a look at the screen, please. Here there are some words from the first class. I'd like you to pay attention to the pronunciation. So, hypnotic, identity, image, inhibition, mind, narcissism, neurobiology, neurosis, operant. We usually combine this word with operant conditioning, organism, overstimulate, parapsychology, phobia, and physiological. Also, we have got analyze, behavior, clinical, cognitive, conditioning, could be classical, or I hope you remember operant. Conscious and the adjective conscious. Construct, emotional, experiment, extrasensory, forensic. Framework, hallucination. The last column, project, project as a verb. Psychiatrist, psychoanalysis, psychotic. Reinforce, scientific. Sensory, stereotype, stimulus, subconscious, therapy, and the last one, unconscious. Okay, then, so here we have got the key vocabulary. You are going to listen to the text. Listening to the text, you are supposed to catch the words that are omitted in the text. You can see them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let us listen to the text.
English for Psychology by Jane Short. Copyright Garnet Publishing Limited, 2010. CD 1. Unit 1. Lesson 1.2. Exercise B. Part 1.
Hello and welcome to the Psychology faculty. I'd like to start by asking a basic question. What is psychology? If we look carefully, we can find clues to the definition in the origin of the word itself. So let's have a look at the two main parts, psych and ology. Some of you may already know that psyche is a Greek word, but does anyone know what it means? Yes, psyche means spirit or soul or mind, and ology comes from the Greek logos, meaning speech or theory. So psychology literally means theory of the mind. As a matter of interest, the word mind has several forms which aren't particularly associated with psychology. For example, mindless, mindful, minder. But in psychology, the adjective we use to refer to the mind is mental, which comes from the Latin word mens, meaning mind.
Well, I hope you caught the vocabulary. Number 1. What is psychology? So we will put here this word. Yes, psyche means spirit or soul or mind. Okay, number 3. So psychology literally means theory of the mind. And the last one. But in psychology, the adjective we use to refer to the mind is mental. Okay. Moving to the next one. Well, you are supposed to write some sort of a definition of psychology on your own, from your memories. Like, what do you think psychology is? Psychology. Psychology is a science that studies mind, and I guess you will also add it and behavior. Yeah. What does the lecturer say about psychology? So, psychology is about the mind, it's about behavior, it's about philosophy. It's impossible to define. What would you answer? Well, probably the correct answer A, B, C, or D. Psychology in this piece of lecture was told to refer the mind. So the correct answer would be A. Um, okay, so let's highlight that. Then, the next slide. You are supposed to think about two words, extinction and sympathetic. Let's define what is extinction and what is sympathetic. At first, extinction. Take a look at the definitions. A. The complete disappearance of species from the planet. For example, dinosaurs. Well, is it matching extinction or sympathetic? Well, I guess that's about extinction. What about B definition? Kind and understanding. That's truly about sympathetic. Sympathetic person is a kind and understanding person. C. A stage in the process of conditioning where response disappears because stimulus is removed. So here we speak about psychology English, and that refers to extinction. We do not speak about the dinosaurs, we speak about disappearance of response because stimulus is removed. The last one, the part of the nervous system that prepares the body to respond to danger. Like a response could be flight or fight. Yeah? So that would refer sympathetic nervous system. Okay, then. Now you are ready to listen to the second part of the lecture with your partners. You will discuss whether the following statements are true or false. So let's listen first, and then we will work with the statements, true false statements. So, listening.
Unit 1, Lesson 1.2, Exercise C, Part 2.
As we're looking at words, let's examine for a moment how they can change their meaning in different situations. It probably happens in your own language. Let me give you an example. In everyday English, when we say an animal is in danger of extinction, we mean that there are very few alive and they may all disappear forever. But when we refer to extinction in psychology, we mean that in the process of conditioning, a response has disappeared because the stimulus has been removed. Is there any connection between these two meanings? Yes, there is. Both uses of the word refer to disappearing, but in the everyday sense, we are referring to the physical disappearance of a species. In psychology, though, extinction is the disappearance of a response because a stimulus has been removed. Somehow, when we are learning our first language, we get a feeling for the basic meaning of words, which helps us to understand the same word in a new context. When we are learning another language, it is very important to find the basic meaning of a word because the direct translation in one context may not be the correct translation in another. For example, can you use the word for sympathetic in your language in the context of sympathetic nervous system, meaning the part of the nervous system that prepares the organism to face danger?
Unit 1.
Okay, then. Here you have got the sentences. You are supposed to mark them true or false after listening this part of the lecture. You can find the audio file in YouTube, and also I have sent you the link. So you will listen once again and mark the sentences as true or false after listening the second part of the lecture. Well, listen to the part 3 of this talk and match the branch of psychology with a proper picture. So, as you may guess, the professor is going to speak about branches, psychology branches. So, take a look at the pictures and read the names of the branches first. Here we have got 5 names for the branches of psychology. They are social, neuropsychology, developmental, personality psychology, and clinical psychology. There are some pictures. There are some pictures. You may connect to these words. Yeah? Take a look at the pictures and we resume listening.
Lesson 1.2, Exercise D, Part 3.
So let's look at my original question in a little more detail. What is psychology? Well, there are several different branches of psychology. Social psychology is one. Social psychology studies the way people behave in groups. Then there's neuropsychology, which concentrates on the physiological processes that affect human behavior. Can you think of any others? There's developmental psychology, which studies how people's minds develop throughout their lives. Educational psychology is a sub-branch of developmental psychology. The branch that focuses on different types of individual is personality psychology. And last but not least, there's clinical psychology, which specializes in diagnosing and treating mental disorders. Although these specialist fields focus on various aspects of psychology, they all involve the study of the human mind and how people behave. But psychology isn't only about the mind, it's also about behavior.
Okay, then. So here we have the supplementary part of our definition. Like psychology is about mind, and in this part, the speaker told us that psychology is also about behavior. The branches of the named branches of psychology study different aspects of human behavior. Yeah, we have got that social psychology. What picture would you connect? Social. That would be like interaction in a group. Yeah. Neuropsychology. Neuropsychology, it studies different physiological processes in brain. Developmental, they study from the early age, from the birth, a person from its early age to its old years. Yeah, here we have got the baby and the doctor. Personality psychology. Personality psychology, different aspects of personality, different features of personality. Yeah. And one of the sub branches of personality psychology is forensic psychology. Here we have got the picture with a criminal scene. And the last one is clinical. Clinical, they work with some mental disorders, restrictions. Yeah. If I scroll down this picture, you will be able to see the short definitions of these branches. Let's move next. So listen to the final part and mark each word in the box, D or E. Yeah? So once again, you are supposed to listen and to work with these words. In the final part of the talk, the lecturer gives a general definition of psychology and some examples. Listen and mark each word in the box. D if it's a part of the definition, or E if it's a part of an example.
Unit 1, Lesson 1.2, Exercise E, Part 4.
So far, we've looked at the origin of the word psychology, the ways in which we use ordinary words in a special sense, and some of the different fields of psychology. Above all, we've established that psychology is about the mind. But is that all it's about? No. It's also about behavior. As I mentioned before, all the different specialist areas of psychology involve analysis. But how do we go about analyzing the mind? Well, we do this by analyzing behavior. For example, a forensic psychologist will draw up the mental profile of a criminal by studying the traces they leave at a crime scene. A neuropsychologist will establish the effect of different stimuli on an individual by observing how they respond during laboratory experiments. Whenever a psychologist studies people's behavior, there is always a scientific basis for their analysis. So to answer the question, what is psychology, we can say that it is the scientific analysis of human behavior and the mind.
Well, I hope you managed to put these letters. If not, you may pause the video and do this activity on your own. Meanwhile, we scroll down and you have got one more task. You are supposed to write a definition of psychology using words marked as D. We have D mark the analysis, behavior, mind, and scientific. So I hope you can do this definition. That would sound that the psychology is a scientific analysis of person's behavior, of human behavior, and mind. Yeah? You will make it. And I hope to get it soon. So the next thing for you that was supposed to be discussion. You are supposed to think about examples of ways which psychologists have changed for the better in recent times. Drug abuse, post-traumatic shock syndrome, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, intercultural relations. Think which item refers to you, which one you are interested in, and give a short presentation from your point of view. What psychologists have changed in field of drug abuse, in field of post-traumatic shock syndrome, like on your choice? Not much, like 3 or 4 sentences. That would be enough. And your home task, it's your vocabulary test. Kindly remind you about your vocabulary test. Hope you enjoyed today's class. So, see you soon.